What's up, everyone? I'm back again with another one for you. We're going to be talking about numbers today. And I know, similarly to networking, some of you just think about numbers and it probably takes you back to school, to that maths lesson that you just like, ugh, when am I going to use all of this? When am I going to use trigonometry? Why do I have to know this in my head? That wasn't me. I actually really liked maths in school. I really enjoyed maths, but maths didn't prepare me for the numbers that I need to know today. Let's talk about that. But hey, that's another conversation for another day. But numbers, if you don't know your numbers, you are going to kill your business. My coach literally says to me, know your numbers or die. And it's true because a deal is not a deal if the numbers don't work. So I'm going to talk to you about the most important things that you need to know when you are looking to invest in a property. You may have all heard of the term money in, money out, which, based for those of you who don't know what that means, it essentially means the money that you put in to buying the property and doing it up, you get it out at the refinance. So if you do your calculations right, which obviously, given what I've said, you would have had to do the calculations even before you make your offer on that property, you can potentially get your money out of the property and use that to go and invest elsewhere. Couple of things that I want to say about that principle. If you can get your money in, money out, then yay, that's great. But I don't think it's the be all and end all personally when it comes to buying properties. I really don't. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, there's nothing wrong with leaving a little bit of money in the property that you're going to get out through cash flow. Now, obviously, if you're flipping a property, you don't just want your money in, money out. You want money in, money out and profit. Yeah. So that's completely different. But for those of you who are renting property, you can get your money back out through the cash flow that you're going to get on a monthly basis. I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with leaving a little bit of money in the property. What I would suggest is that if you are going down that route, you need to decide how much money you're prepared to leave in a property. Okay? So that's the only thing that I would suggest. So you don't want to be leaving, for example, in a property that you've paid £105 for, you don't want to be leaving 40k in the property. Personally, I wouldn't want to do that, not unless your cash flow is to such an extent that you're going to be getting that back within like 12 months, 12, 18, even 24 months. But unless your numbers are looking like that, I personally wouldn't want to do that. So that's one thing that I would say about money in, money out. And the other thing is that it's like I said, it's not the be all and end all. And no, it's not unheard of. Is it common? It depends on where your investment area is, and it depends on the deal. It depends on how well you've negotiated the deal. And if you have negotiated a below market value deal, then yeah, you are likely to get your money out at the refinance stage. The most important thing that I think all us property investors need to know are the done up values of a property. This is like the most important number to be aware of, because no matter how much money you put into a property, it's only going to be worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. And if you're not flipping that house, if you're renting it, it's going to be based on what the last person paid for a property that looks exactly like yours or very similar. I'm going to explain a bit more. So, what I mean by that is when surveyors have a look at your properties and they do valuations, they do not only the same research as us in terms of the desktop research, they also have a look at the area, they look at the size of the size of the property itself and the size of the land. There's a lot of factors that they take into consideration, but ultimately your property is worth what someone's willing to pay for it. And if next door went for 120, but you think that by your house looking identical to next door's, you're going to get 150 for it, it's not justified. So you have to be very clear on what your ceiling price is, because that is going to impact on your offer that you make and the amount of money, the budget that you have for refurb. Okay, so that, just bear that in mind as well when it comes to your numbers. Cash flow, I don't know, for those of you who are not familiar with the term cash flow is not the rent that you get every month. Cash flow is what you get every month once all your expenses have gone from your rent. So don't get that confused either. So it's very important to distinguish between the two. And the easiest way that I can explain that is to think of when you get paid a salary. Yeah, you've got your gross and you've got your net. Your rent is your gross and your cash flow is your net. So that's how you calculate what the difference is. You're not looking at what rent is coming into your pocket every month, you're looking at the cash flow. These are really important basic number rules, number explanations, whatever you want to call it, that you need to be aware of, because like I said, I've said this before, anyone can buy a house. Anyone can buy a house, but if you want a property business which is profitable, then you need to know your numbers and you need to be strategic when you're buying these properties. Okay, once you get familiar by actually doing something. So I really hope, not for 1 second, woo, thank you. So I really hope for 1 second that you guys are not just sitting there and taking notes and not doing anything, or just sitting there listening and not doing anything. You have to get up and do something. You have to do something. That is going to be one of your best teachers, apart from me, of course. But no, you need to do something. And the more you start having a look at numbers, the quicker you'll get at it, the more comfortable it will become for you. And the quicker you'll be able to analyze deals to see whether it's a deal for you or not. These numbers as well, it's just something that you should be doing before you even go out and view a property. This is part of your due diligence. This is knowing whether this area, this property works for you before you even make contact with the estate agent. And you need to know the basics, and not only know the basics, remember them and stick to them. Because if you don't, you can end up getting yourself into some tricky situations. So have a think about your target area. You should kind of have an idea of what areas you are beginning to look at. You should now know what your strategy is. And with this one, have a look, like I said, at the done up values of the properties you are going to be looking at. Okay, and then have a look at the pictures in terms of what potentially needs doing in properties and in the property and things like that to bring it up to standard. Compare the properties to other properties on the road, preferably on the same side of the road. Have a look at properties that are done up. Have a look at properties that are not done up. And then just have a look at the numbers, make comparisons, and so that you know what your house potentially could go for in any one given area. Leave that with you. That's your challenge, to go and do some more research, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.